There is so much we still have to do to the Supra, but I have like no time to do it. Anyways, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. It's another freezing day here in New York. It's like 20 degrees out, and I'm outside trying to film a YouTube video, so good for me. Anyways, guys, like I mentioned in one of the recent videos, we have a lot of stuff to do to the Supra. I need to get the wheels done. I need to paint the hood. So we're actually gonna have to ditch the Supra for like a week or so. Maybe we'll drop it off this weekend. And not only that, we also have a whole bunch of carbon coming from it from Keys Motorsports. And we also have some other mods that are literally sitting in the trunk waiting to be installed. But unfortunately, it's just so cold that it's hard to install these mods and do a proper video. So today I kind of want to do a bit of a story time and tell you guys the reason why I ever bought the Supra, because, well, it's not exactly a good car for YouTube, but I didn't buy it for that reason. I bought it for myself, and it actually goes back like maybe 4 years back at this point. To like 2021, which is pretty crazy to think about. Anyways, in one of my videos, I promised you guys a cold start, and I kind of screwed it up because I filmed it in slow motion. So we're gonna try to do this again and get a proper cold start this time around. By the way, for those of you who don't know, this thing has a catted downpipe and AW exhaust, and it currently has GTS Roar tuned into it. So this should be a loud cold start. Too shabby. It honestly sounds really good. It's not the loudest thing out there because, again, it's a catted downpipe, and this AW exhaust does have a muffler and it does have resonators, but it sounds very good. Anyways, let's hop inside the car and see if we can get to a better location to film the rest of this video. Side note, I think I have an issue with one of my tires. Not the tire itself, but I think the sensor or whatever the pressure thing is, because yeah, currently we have a bit of a low tire, which is a little common in this cold weather. Anyways, let me not get sidetracked here. Again, I want to tell you guys the story of how and why I bought this Supra. Now, I will also say, this is not going to be something for everyone. Like, this isn't why I think everyone should buy a Supra. This is my own personal story. Alright, now that I've made everyone in this parking garage hate me, let's see how long until they kick me out. Anyways, guys, I want to tell you the story about the Supra because this goes back to 2021. So if you guys don't know me and how I kind of started with cars, my first car that I ever owned was a 2010 Honda Civic LX. I was actually originally into JDM cars. I loved Hondas, I loved Toyotas, I loved a whole bunch of other JDM brands. It's just what I kind of grew up loving. In fact, my poster car as a kid was the Acura NSX. That was like my absolute dream car. Honestly, probably still is. And the way that I got into BMWs was kind of not by accident. I was actually gonna get a Civic Type R when the new Type Rs finally came out in the US. And then because of what I do for work and all that, people told me, well, you can't get that car. You're gonna look like a little kid. It's a kid's car. You need something a little more professional, a little more business. So if you guys have been following my YouTube channel, you probably know that I started off with a BMW 435. I got that 435 because it was priced similar to the Civic Type R, at least when it was used, and it looked a little more professional and corporate and all that type of stuff. A little more grown up, if that makes sense, which I'm still not, by the way. But regardless, I got that car because it was the better car. Now, I always liked BMWs, don't get me wrong, but getting the 435 really made me fall in love with BMWs. It made me fall in love with cars even more because the BMW was like my first real car. The Civic was great, but it was an LX, it wasn't even SI. So it was an economy car. The 435, although it wasn't an M car, it was still an amazing car. So it made me fall in love with cars that much more. However, I bought that 435 in around 2018. And then in 2020, as you guys know, some car was released by Toyota. Obviously, the Supra, which has the legendary B58 from BMW. I mean, this whole thing is pretty much a BMW, but regardless, it's a Toyota. When this car came out, there was a whole bunch of controversy around it, as you guys know. I mean, at this point, I feel like a lot of people just fell in love with the car and everyone accepts it for what it is. But when it first came out, a lot of people kind of hated it. They said it wasn't a real JDM car. It wasn't a true Toyota. And listen, they're not wrong because it's really not. Especially after owning one, I can say with utmost confidence, this is not really a Toyota. This is a hardtop BMW Z4, in my opinion. I mean, if you guys didn't know, I mean, look at this. That's a BMW shifter. That's BMW climate controls. That's BMW e-brake, iDrive, BMW screen. I think the cluster is actually designed by Toyota. The steering wheel, yeah, it's Toyota, I'm not gonna lie. And then even the seat settings, that's BMW. And then let's go into the biggest thing. This is a BMW engine. The B58, it's a BMW engine through and through. As a matter of fact, some of these parts are interchangeable between this Toyota and some BMWs. Like this intake will fit a BMW Z4. My padded downpipe, well, that will fit pretty much any BMW with a B58 Gen 2. So this is a BMW through and through. Now there are some parts that are specific to Toyota, like the exhaust on this car. It is specific to the Supra, but I mean, it's still German stuff at the end of the day. Point is, guys, this is a BMW, not a Toyota. Let's see if they're gonna kick me out, by the way. Are they gonna pass by? Yes, sorry. Anyways, point is, this is not really a Toyota. Regardless, that made me fall in love with it more because at my core, I love JDM cars. I did like Toyota. I was more of a Honda guy, admittedly, but I did like Toyota. And in addition to that, it's a BMW, so my love with BMWs is just kind of like merging the two loves together, if that makes sense. So like I said, guys, I bought the 435 in 2018, but in 2020, the Supra came out, and I started my YouTube channel. Now, for certain reasons, I wanted to get rid of the 435, so I wanted to get something else, and the car I wanted to get was the Supra. So I actually went to a Toyota dealership, and I was this close to buying one. As a matter of fact, the reason why I didn't buy one was, well, the reason I almost bought one is because they had like a manager special. Basically, the manager of the dealership drove around the Supra and he was gonna sell it for cheaper. So I was trying to get that one. There's a guy who was trying to help me out get that one, but long story short, it didn't work out. It kind of fell through. But while at the dealership, like I sat inside a Supra because one of my biggest concerns was, am I gonna fit in this car? I'm 6'2", over 200 pounds, but I sat in it, I fit just fine. I was like just lusting over these two black and white Supras at the dealership. And yeah, I was honestly in love with it. So although that one fell through, the manager special one, I was still considering getting one. But at that time, I wanna say, I can't remember if my wife was pregnant or we were planning on getting pregnant or whatever it was. Point is, my family was growing and I knew getting a two-seater, two-door sports car wasn't the smartest decision. As much as I love the Supra, there's something undeniable about this car, and that's its impracticality. This thing, as great of a car as it is, and there's a lot of great things about it, like it's reliable, it's actually good on gas. It's a two-seater, guys, like literally no back seat whatsoever. It's also pretty cool because it's kind of like a hatchback. So if you open up this rear hatch, you can go straight to the back seats, or back seats. There's no back seats. You can go straight to the normal seats. But you can actually put something through over there as well. This thing might fall down on me because these latches are pretty, oh, and there it goes. It's almost falling. This is a long way of saying it has no back seats. It didn't make sense. It would have been a dumb decision. And honestly, back then in 2021, I wasn't making as much money personally. And I think I owned the 435. Fast forward to 2024, and excuse me while I sit inside the car because my hands are starting to freeze. Oh my God, it's so freaking cold. We're just gonna blast the heat for a little bit. Oh man. Anyways, fast forward to 2024, which is when I technically bought this car. I was in a better spot financially, and also I already owned an X5 and I owned the M3, which I'm gonna count as a practical car, but it kind of is. It's a four-door, it's, you know, has full-on back seats. But anyways, I also owned a BMW 330i. Now that 330i I wanted to get rid of because honestly, well, I'm not gonna get into a whole bunch of reasons why, but I wanted to get rid of it. I eventually sold it. And I was like, you know, if I were to buy another car, it would be a Supra. I don't want any other car other than a Supra. The Supra's been a dream car of mine, an attainable dream car. I really want one. I'm gonna, you know, I'm in a better spot financially. We already have two other cars that we can just use. So if I have an impractical car, it'll be fine. And yeah, so I started searching and I was looking. They're so expensive. They're like 50, 55 grand. However, I found this one listed for sale for, I think it was 32 or 31 grand. In Deep, New Jersey. Now, if you've been following the story with the Supra, you'll know very well this car is a rebuilt title. It was in a front-end accident. It wasn't too bad. Thankfully, there was no engine damage. There was no frame damage. There was no suspension damage. I think there was like a radiator or two that was broken, and then obviously a whole bunch of body work. So it really wasn't that bad. But unfortunately, the previous owner did not take the best care of this car. Like, he put a cheap carbon hood on it. There was a whole bunch of stuff that he didn't finish fixing. It had a whole bunch of codes on the dash. There's just a lot of broken stuff, and there's still broken stuff on the car. I mean, you guys can see one of them right here. We still need to fix that. We still need to get this hood painted. There's still work to be done on this car. But the point is, not only was this car a rebuilt title, so inherently it's much cheaper, but it also needed some work. So it made it even cheaper than that. Now, obviously I have full videos about this stuff, so I'm not gonna go into full detail about what was wrong with the car and all that, but I'll just shorten the story here. I went to New Jersey, I saw the car. Even for 31K, that's so much cheaper than 50 or 55. It just made it make more sense for me to get one of these cars at that price point. However, when I saw it and I noticed there's more stuff that was wrong with it, I brought the kit down to 28K, which I still think is a fair price. It's a good deal overall, but it's a fair price considering the mileage on this car. It had like 42,000 miles, the rebuilt title, and all the work that it needed up until this point. So at 28K, I pulled the trigger, I paid for the car in cash, and obviously guys, the car is now mine. So although this has been a dream car of mine, and it's a car that I really wanted to own, I don't care about YouTube, I don't care about clout, I don't care about any of that. I just love this car. It's a JDM German car. To me, it's the best of both worlds. You get the cool, more exciting looks of a JDM car, but then also the better engineering of a German car, especially with the B58 and how practical and reliable that engine is. I mean, just look at the dyno numbers that we ran recently. Like, this thing is amazing. All right, again, we're gonna hide inside the car because it's getting cold again. I can only be outside for so long. Anyways, I know it wasn't the most impactful video, no mods or anything like that, no crazy driving, but yeah, I just want to tell you guys the story so you can better understand why I love this car so much and why I chose to get this car. I will eventually make like a full review of the Supra. It's something that I want to do because although I have my personal reasons why I bought this car, there are objective reasons why I think everyone should buy this car. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap up this video here. So if you guys enjoyed it, drop it a like, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, this video is pretty much done. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.